Hey everyone, Etchy here. This week let's talk about one of my all-time favorite mental models, the principle of charity. And no, I don't mean giving to the less fortunate, though if you have the means, you should give to the less fortunate, because it's scientifically proven that altruism makes us happier. What I'm talking about here is actually more along the lines of giving someone the benefit of the doubt. This is a very flexible mental model, and you can use it for a variety of different situations. You use it all the time and maybe don't even realize it. In fact, you're using it right now while you listen to me talk, and I am very grateful for it. So, please like and subscribe if you haven't, and let's dive right in. The principle of charity is stated in several different ways, but the main gist of the mental model we will be using goes something like, when you're interpreting someone's statements or actions, you should assume the best possible interpretation is the one that they are attempting to convey to you. This can mean a few different things based on whether it's their words or their actions, but one thing that it definitely doesn't mean is that the best possible interpretation is something that's beneficial to you. Using this principle just assures that the other person's argument is the best that it possibly could be, construction-wise. There aren't any logical fallacies or things like that in the way. It doesn't mean that what they're saying is true or that you have to agree with it. What this model does is make sure that their actions or words are put in the best possible argument from their side, giving them the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't actually mean that we have to agree with them. We're just helping to make sure that the truth is what is discovered, but I'll get more into that in a little bit. First, I'll do a super easy one. This is one that we apply intuitively. If someone's carrying a heavy object that they're really struggling with and they say, this thing weighs a ton, they don't literally mean that it weighs a ton or that they're capable of lifting a ton. We don't need to weigh the object. We can just assume that what they actually are trying to say is that the object is heavy and what they're doing is difficult. The same goes for if you say, I have butterflies in my stomach. Another example would be if we heard someone say, humans can fly all over the globe now. We have a theory for everything. We've even put a man on the moon. We should be able to cure cancer. A non-charitable argument against this statement would point out some fallacies that are not intended. We can't actually fly. We've built machines to do so. We don't have a unified theory of everything, so on and so forth. Instead, we can assume they meant something more like this. Humans have achieved many great and amazing things when they work together, including building airplanes, creating many scientific theories, and even putting a man on the moon. With all this knowledge and power, we should be able to figure out a cure for cancer. The last example that I'll go over, and actually my favorite example and use for this, is in a competition or a game. Say for instance you're playing chess with someone, and you know they're good at chess, and they make what appears to be a really, really bad move. Well, you have to think about that before you take advantage of it, because they could be trying to trap you. You have to give them the benefit of the doubt to know that they're a good enough player that they wouldn't make such an obvious mistake. Otherwise, you might move your queen in to take their bishop, only to find that it was covered by a knight. The first recorded statement of this principle was way back in the 2nd century, when a man known as Rabbi Meir stated, "A person does not say things without reason." So now let's go over some things this mental model does not mean. It does not mean that we blindly trust information we receive. It does not mean that no verification is needed. And it does not contain an assumption of altruism. In other words, giving someone the benefit of the doubt that their argument is solid does not mean that their argument is correct or that their argument or actions are for our benefit. If the goal is to get to the truth, then this concept can help both sides argue from the strongest position possible. If the goal is to win a game or competition, this concept can help you in determining if your opponent is setting traps for you. We can also tie this in with the razors from a previous episode. If a person argues or acts in a way that can be interpreted in multiple ways, and one of those ways is logical and the other ways are not, we can assume that they are acting in the logical way until proven otherwise. Modern-day philosopher Dennett states that this model should be used in discourse in the following way. First, you should first attempt to re-express the person's position so clearly, vividly, and fairly that they actually say something like, "Thanks, I wish I'd have thought of putting it that way." Second, you should list any points of agreement in their argument. Third, you should mention to them anything that you have learned from their argument. Fourth, only then are you permitted to criticize or offer rebuttal. By following these steps, you are now facing the strongest possible version of their argument that you can face. And if you're looking for the truth, that's the one you want to go after. I'll leave these rules in the description of this video so that you can practice. I think this would be a great exercise if the next time we got into an argument or debate or discussion with someone, we tried to follow these steps. If you do, let me know in the comments. Using the principle of charity as a mental model can improve our lives in many ways. First, it will make you better at understanding others, specifically by considering and really thinking about what they are saying. You will learn to identify the best possible interpretation and become better at understanding what people are actually trying to say to you. Second, continuously practicing and identifying and correcting logical fallacies in others' arguments will help make sure your own arguments contain less of them. Also, only focusing on refuting arguments due to their logical fallacies will make you weaker at critical thinking skills overall. Third, you will become more likable. People prefer to talk to someone who is making a genuine effort to understand what they're trying to say, rather than someone who is looking to identify issues and statements in order to win the discussion. Finally, people will be more willing to listen to what you have to say. If you are applying to their argument from the best possible interpretation and ignoring any minor issues, it is much more likely they will listen to what you are trying to say to them about their argument. Well, that's all for this week. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Please like and subscribe for more, and I'll see you next week.